Hello, time for another Man in Gray book review. Today's book is Elemental Poetry by Samuel DenHartag, published in 2024 by Studios Sinola. It's 127 pages. This book contains a poem about every one of the 118 elements in the periodic table, plus an introductory poem. Let me just say right at the beginning that Samuel Hartag is not a great poet or even a good one. Many of these poems have problems with the meter. They're all in rhyming couplets, which gets very tedious to read after a while. But you've got to admire the chutzpah of anyone who could write 118 poems about elements. And they're a good way to learn something about the elements. If you're a chemistry student in high school or even college and you want to review the elements, so this is a fun way to look over. The poems, most of them tell how many what their atomic number is, how many protons they have, their uses, their history, the history of the element as far as human use, and so forth. So it's kind of a quick review. And the poems are not very long, so you can read this book, in an afternoon. It's a quick read, but just don't look for great literary merit because there isn't any. One of the smart things that the author did, was he arranged these elements. Arrange the poems of the elements in alphabetical order instead of the order that they're in the periodic table. Because if you did that, they'd be really tedious to read. The elements, for example, at the very bottom of the periodic table, the last 8 or 9 elements in the periodic table, those are all basically the same. There's hardly any difference between them except the number of protons. They're all radioactive. They're all man-made. They're all unstable, and none of them have any practical use. The only reason those elements were created in labs was just to see if they could do it. It's kind of like climbing Mount Everest. There's no practical reason to climb to the top of Mount Everest. The only reason people do that is just to say that they've done it. And so these elements, element 110 and element 111 and element 113, the only reason those elements were created in a lab is just to see if it was possible to create them. So they don't really have any use. And so if these poems had been arranged in the order of the periodic table, you would have read 9 or 10 poems in a row about elements that don't have any use. So by arranging them in alphabetical order, there's a lot more variety in terms of the subject matter. I'm going to go ahead and read one of the poems to you to kind of give you an idea of what they're like. And I picked element number 26, which is iron, which has the chemical symbol of Fe. That's the other thing. Each poem has the chemical symbol of the element, so that may help you remember them if you're studying periodic table. So here's the poem for iron. Iron, the backbone of civilizations, rise. In the earth's crust abundantly it lies, with 26 protons, strong and bold, in history and industry its stories told. In steel's embrace it finds its might, skyscrapers, bridges, in it they delight. A skeleton of progress in beams and rails, in iron strength humanity prevails. In blood's red hue it plays a part, carrying life in every heart. Oxygen's courier, in veins it flows. In health's quiet dance its importance shows. In ancient times a metal so revered, in tools and weapons it appeared. A change from bronze, a leap so grand, in iron's edge it shaped the land. In art it sculpts, in culture it weaves, in gates and fences its form achieves. A craft of beauty, in hands that mold, in iron's touch stories untold. Iron, an element both tough and true, in the fabric of life it's a clue. From the core of the earth to the blood in our form, iron's journey forever warm. Okay, so that's what you're getting here. It's a description of the element, its uses, a little bit of the scientific data about the poem. So again, this is not great poetry, but it's great fun. If you're interested in the elements and you want to brush up on them or study for a test, this is a fun way to do that. So that's what you get here. The book is Elemental Poetry. The author is Samuel DenHartag. This has been another Man in Gray book review. Thanks for watching.